I'm Mel Stewart, and this is the SwimSwam Speedo podcast. Joining me today, Ryan Murphy, 4-time Olympic gold medalist. And if you haven't been paying attention, today was a big drop, Speedo Tech drop. And I'm here to talk to the man who probably has some experience doing this. How long have you been wearing Speedo?
Oh, a long time. Ever since I learned to swim. You think about swimming and Speedo is kind of the next thing you think about, or you think about Michael Phelps, and he was another Speedo athlete. So either way, quickly after learning about the sport of swimming, you learn about Speedo. So I've been repping Speedo for as long as I can remember.
You've been through this a few times. You're a pro.
I know. I feel like now, whenever we go along and we get the prototypes and we do the suit testing, I know exactly the things I want to do to test the suit, and I have different things I'm thinking about and trying to track some different metrics. So yeah, it's fun. I feel like I've got this a little bit down to a science now.
Yeah, I think you would have to be hiding or just completely offline not to know that this happened. Speedo, the tech drop was pretty big. Speedo Fastskin LZR Intent 2.0 and the Fastskin LZR Valor 2.0. This is developed by Speedo's famous Aqualab in collaboration with, I want to get this correct, Lamoral Space Tech. And to me, this feels a little bit like we're going back to 2008, because 2008 was there was a space engineering involved in the design, and people really caught on to that. They loved it. So do you have have you boned up on this information? Can you talk to me about the technology?
Yeah, so it really sounds like the coating is what's really special about these suits, and I think, going back to 2008, I'm not totally up to speed on everything NASA was doing to help them develop those suits, but I want to say that was involved with like the paneling and the seams, and this really has to do with the coating, which is also very impressive. If you're thinking about a completely different atmosphere in space, you have to come up with some creative coating. And I think water is a completely different medium than what most of our materials are exposed to. So, thinking about that in a different way, I think is really genius.
Just so we're precise so that people understand what's actually going on here. I have it in front of me. I've done my research. This space technology was originally developed to protect satellites. And this tech coating on the Intent and the Valor 2.0 provides competitive swimmers lower water absorption and more durable water repellents. And it's light, providing swimmers the feeling of weightlessness in the pool. Now, I haven't been in this tech. I have to rely on you. You armored up. You tell me, which are you, Intent or are you Valor?
Yeah, so I wear the Valor. I like the Intent, but if I'm splitting hairs and I'm forced to pick a favorite, I do pick the Valor. And I would say I've been really impressed with this new suit. Like, in terms of my initial takes on it, I think it holds compression a lot better as compared to the previous Valor. I think the coating, the coating is kind of the special sauce. The coating does hold a lot better as compared to the last Valor as well. And I've suited up twice in this suit in the last week, and I've been able to go fast times in practice. So it feels good. I think it looks good, and if I'm swimming fast, then those are the main points for me.
Let's do the Speedo humble brag here, because he's got to do it. But here's the thing. I'm making a joke, but this is the metrics on this are pretty impressive. 55% of all individual swimming world records since 2019 have been in Fastskin. 75% of world records set in 2023. Speedo Fastskin technology has also thrived at the highest levels at the 2020 Olympic Games, with 61% of all the gold medals and 49% of all medals won in Speedo Tech. Did you know that?
I didn't know the specific numbers, but I will say, Speedo's been a pretty dominant brand in the sport for a long time, and it's nice to see that they're holding firm in that and not being complacent. They're continuing to try to push the envelope on their technology, and I think this suit's going to have some really great stats behind it in a couple of years as well.
Something that you need to think about, especially in this day and age, is and it's always a big concern, is sustainability. And this is something that Speedo takes seriously. They in our conversations they talk about it a lot, but the Durable water repellent coating extends the suit's life cycle without the use of harmful chemicals. The result, a more sustainable, environmentally conscious material with a repellent finish that works. And I think that's so a longer life cycle is something when someone makes the investment in this kind of technology, which is top of the line, that's got to make moms and dads happy.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about sustainability, and I think that's incredible. And I think, you also kind of were alluding to accessibility with the sport. I think the more people that can be involved in this sport, be able to make the investment in the top of the line technology and know that that's going to extend for the entire meet or an entire season. That's an incredible thing for the sport, and I think it just increases access that people are going to have.
Can you kind of let us inside the experience as a pro? At like what point do you know about new technology being developed? At what point? I know they always consult their Team Speedo athletes. At what point were you brought in?
Oh wow! I mean, we were talking about some minor fit adjustments about the suits leading into the Tokyo Olympics. And at that time they were already saying, like, we've already got our 2024 initial prototypes. We're already thinking about that. So, I mean, just, you could do the simple math there. If that was beginning of 2021 and here we are, almost 3 years later, these suits do take a long time to develop. There's a ton of thought that goes into this, and a ton of thought from some really talented, smart people. And so, I mean, as an athlete, that's all you can ask for, is to have really capable, smart people on the research and development side, so that you can go behind the blocks knowing you have the best technology possible. You
are the stalwart backstroke man. You deliver. You're always in the hunt to win. If you're not winning, you're always right there making somebody suffer. If I'm young and I'm an age grouper out there, and I'm thinking about this suit, and I'm swimming backstroke, why Valor?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I really do think it's a great suit, especially for backstroke. Like, as you're swimming a race, and especially as you're starting to think about a tech suit, like, the things that I'm thinking about are, how does this swimsuit assist my body position? If I'm riding higher in the water, that's gonna be less drag. I'm gonna go faster. How does it assist the technique of my stroke? How do my muscles fatigue in this suit? And how does it look? Does it look good? Do I feel confident in it? And the Speedo Valor checks the box on all of those. It really does make your hips ride higher in the water. In terms of your leg fatigue at the end of the races, like, your legs obviously you're going to hurt at the end of a race. That's just the sport. But in terms of the fatigue and the way you feel the fatigue, it's not a different feeling as to what you're feeling in practice. And so you're very well aware of how to deal with that pain. And it looks great. So I think the Valor is an incredible suit choice for any age grouper.
I'm a little bit jealous, because it feels like, if you're a Speedo athlete today, I was a Speedo athlete 30 years ago. Feels like today it's a little bit like Formula One, and they roll the car out and you get into the car. Do you feel like that's an accurate statement, or have you this has always been your experience?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that we're quite as big of rock stars as the F1 drivers, but in terms of the engineers on the other end, yeah, Speedo has incredibly smart, capable people working on these designs, and that really makes our job a lot easier, that we can just focus in on the competing and the racing and not have to worry about the technology side.
Well, tell me where your head's at, because I know that once you're inside the Olympic bubble, once the Olympic fever starts to catch on, it can be an intense period of time. And you've been to the big show you've been to the show a few times, so it's like, how are you managing that?
Oh, I'm in it. I'm there. So I think honestly, with a little bit more experience, like, I'm a little bit better at flipping the switch and allowing myself to, relax on a weekend. But I mean, you call it Monday morning alarm through Saturday morning practice. Like, I'm pretty drilled into it at the moment, and I think that's been great. So if I'm looking at the fall training block that I've done, I think this is about this is probably the best fall training block that I've had since 2018. And so I'm really happy with how things have gone so far. So I'm excited about where things are at, and I think we've got a really good plan for, trying to peak in June and July. Maybe it's in August of next year.
The interesting thing about swimmers is that tell me if this has been your experience, but for me, it was like you would go back to high school, and I remember being more stressed about our Eastern championships, which is like prep school methicals. We couldn't swim. We didn't swim near school up at Mercersburg or even NC2As. But once you got into the Olympic loop, you could manage it. But the one part that I always could count on was I could count on Speedo. And so what is that like when you're like, I know they've got this. It's not something I have to worry about. Is that this, maybe you've been a Speedo athlete for so long, maybe it's just like, what, I am not worried. It's there.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of nailed on the latter half of that. Like, I really do trust Speedo. And then I have for a long time. Like, I think, like, you're reading out the stats, over 55% of world records since 2019 have been in a Speedo suit. Like, they've proven time and time again that they're delivering on the best technology. So I do trust that. And there's so many other things that are going on and that impact a performance. And so it just allows me to focus in on those things and just understand that technology is going to take care of itself, because there's such an incredible brand behind the process of making it.
I know you don't have a lot of time, but I want to get a little bit superficial because I always love this part of it. But it's the shoot. I kept hearing about the shoot and kept hearing about something special happening. But the shoots are always a lot of fun. And I don't even know, where did you guys capture this?
Yeah, I mean, these shots were the day after World Championships this past summer in Japan. So yeah, we did it for 2 days right after the Fukuoka Worlds. Was that? I guess the stress levels are way down and you're chill. But is it? It usually seems like it's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, it's awesome. I mean, like, I think every time you go, you make connections with new athletes. I mean, obviously everyone knows everyone in the room just because of their accomplishments, but getting to know people on a more personal level, like, it was incredible to, join with Petey. Petey's part of Team Speedo now, and you get to hang out with him on a more personal level. And, it's always great getting together with the USA squad. But then, I got to meet like Elijah Winnington from Australia. That guy is hilarious. And so, like, it's just these incredible personalities that, like, you just see them as these freak athletes, but, kind of behind the suit, there's some really, really cool people there too.
So you've got your Cal family, you got your Team USA family, you got your Speedo family. So if you're
100%, it's good Christmases.
It's great Christmases. Oh my God, have you been to HQ and gone through and been like, I'm going to go shopping?
Oh yeah, always. I mean, I think really, like, right after I signed in 2017, I signed with Speedo, and for a couple of years there, the only gifts my family was getting was Speedo gear. I was so hyped on it. So I was just like, they kept on getting all these Speedo shirts, and then their closets kind of got saturated with all the Speedo gear. So then I had to change. I had to get some other gifts in there, but the Speedo gear is awesome.
So let me just qualify it this way. It's when you're a Speedo athlete, people say, come out to the HQ, come out to headquarters and just go shopping. And I did it once, but I like, the women on the team apparently were like going out each year. Have you done that?
Yeah, I mean, Speedo's always great to us. Like, I've gone to HQ a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, typically I'm trying to pack light. I'm not trying to go back with a checked bag. So, I grab what I can to fit in my carry-on, but that's where I draw the line.
There should be an unboxing, because I know they send you everything. So you've got to, like, show your full kit sometime. It's like, it's a drop, it's here. But I guess it's always secret until it's announced. But yeah, that sounds fun. All right, let me close this out by saying, if you're I think everybody cares about the grassroots and they care about, young athletes coming up. If you had to talk to a mom and dad or a coach and you had to say, hey, this is the suit to wear, how would you explain that to them?
I guess the easiest way to get the point across is, if I'm talking about my own swimming, you think about a 1% difference in my race, the 100 back. So 52 second race. So 1%, that's, 51 100ths of a second, half a second. That's a difference between, Olympic gold and, potentially like 6th place. So like the margins in this sport really do matter. And I think giving your kid the confidence of going behind the block, knowing that they have the fastest suit available, that's just, like, it's like a cheat code for confidence behind the blocks. Like, if you go behind the blocks with confidence, like, that is, that's honestly a major hurdle for a lot of people. So taking that first step to build up the confidence because of the technology you're wearing, I think is a great way to go. And yeah, just get your kids comfortable swimming fast as early as possible.